You said in your last testimony that we would have 90 deals in 90 days.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Families paid more. Markets surged. Now lawmakers are demanding accountability.
And I want to start with the people who paid the price for the choices that have been made over the past year. Ambassador, the Supreme Court has now ruled that these blanket tariffs are illegal. This hearing should be about one thing: getting the American people their money back. So let me ask you something that should be pretty easy, yes or no. Do you believe American families deserve refunds for the higher prices that they paid under tariffs the Supreme Court has now ruled illegal? Yes or no?
So I think
yes or no,
if
Mr.
we could
Greer.
get the Biden inflation
Mr.
12% back to the consumers, that would be a great start.
Okay, I will take that as a no.
Democratic attorneys general
Reclaiming
ask
my
for the
time,
tariff revenue
reclaiming my
to go to
time,
companies.
reclaiming my
That's what they
time.
want. It's what they
Since
asked
you
for.
can't answer a very basic question, yes or no, to the American people who paid the price through taxes that were imposed illegally by this administration. That's why I've introduced the Relief Act, to guarantee automatic refunds in 90 days. No games, no gimmicks, no applications, no red tape, no favoritism, just getting the people their money back. That is what this should be about, because families were paying more while someone else was profiting. And I want to move to that. At our last hearing, you said, and I quote, this is not market manipulation. But since then, we've seen a clear pattern. Tariffs are announced, markets move. A sudden reversal follows, markets move. And then the tariffs resume, one over and over again. Mr. Chairman, I ask for unanimous consent to submit to the record 10 articles documenting concerns about market-moving policy actions and trading activities around them.
Without objection.
Thank you. Ambassador, 18 minutes before last year's tariff pause, 18 minutes, traders placed enormous bets that the market would surge. And 46 minutes before the president's announcement on Iran negotiations just that last week, someone shorted the oil market by hundreds of millions of dollars. Markets don't move like that by accident. And it raises serious questions about market manipulation and insider trading inside Donald Trump's administration. You told this committee that the original tariff pause was part of the plan. Well, if that's true, then that plan was worth billions to anyone who knew about it in advance at the expense of hardworking Americans. That's wrong. And it raises a very simple question. Who knew it and who profited off of the backs of the American people? It stinks. And at a minimum, it warrants an investigation. That's why I led a letter with 130 other Democrats asking for answers about the Liberation Day tariff pause. We still haven't received a response from you, Mr. Ambassador. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the letter dated April 11th, 2025, into the record.
Without objection.
So, Ambassador, let me ask you, what steps have you taken specifically to ensure that no one under your supervision is trading on non-public market-moving information?
We have ethics rules that are imposed, and every government employee, whether they're a political or whether they're career staff, they have to follow these rules. Every year, those who are in high positions, they have to fill out a form that says what trades they have,
you're
and so we
saying
turn those in.
This is about a form. Someone with access to your information is actively moving markets minutes before announcements. Existing safeguards are clearly not working. Instead of delivering relief to working people, this administration is allowing insiders to profit while everyone else pays more. Now, I want to move on to one last thing.
That's just not true.
You said in your last testimony that we would have 90 deals in 90 days.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
I don't think I said that.
I asked you.
90 deals in 90 days.
That's what you said. So how many do we have done?
We have
18 of 90. In my book, that is a failing grade. Your testimony gloats how you've made just as many trade deals during your tenure as free trade agreements since 1985, but you know better than anyone that those free trade agreements went through Congress. And if you don't know that, then we have a bigger problem. Because the reality is There is no trade agreement that isn't binding, that isn't enforceable, and that no one has the opportunity to review. None of them have gone through Congress. Meanwhile, they are costing the American people more. And to me, the American people deserve better. They deserve their money back. They deserve accountability for the market manipulation and the insider trading.
There's none of
They
that.
deserve transparency, and right now, they're not getting any of that from this administration. We deserve better. I yield back.
At the center of this discussion is the issue of tariffs. Tariffs are essentially taxes placed on imported goods, and while they're often framed as tools to protect domestic industries, the reality is that those costs are frequently passed directly on to consumers. That means everyday families end up paying more for basic goods. The key point raised here is that the Supreme Court has ruled certain blanket tariffs illegal, which raises a serious question. If people were charged more because of a
Policy that shouldn't have existed in that form, should they get that money back? That's where the idea of refunds comes in. The argument being made is straightforward. If the government collected money through policies later deemed unlawful, then there should be a mechanism to return those funds to the public. But what makes this moment stand out is not just the policy debate, it's the lack of a clear answer. When a simple yes or no question about refunds can't get a direct response, it signals something deeper, either uncertainty, reluctance, or a broader political calculation at play. The conversation then shifts into something even more complex and potentially more serious: market behavior surrounding policy announcements. The concern raised is about timing. Large financial trades happening minutes before major government decisions become public naturally raise eyebrows. In financial markets, timing is everything. If someone has access to information before the public does, they can make enormous profits. That's why there are strict rules against insider trading. What's being suggested here is not proven wrongdoing, but a pattern that deserves scrutiny. When tariffs are announced, paused, or resumed, and markets react sharply each time, it creates opportunities. If certain individuals or entities are consistently positioned to benefit just before those moves happen, it raises legitimate concerns about whether the system is being exploited. Even the perception of that can erode public trust.